Welcome to Courtney on Health exclusively on malcolmpresents.com, a streaming network which brings you new and exciting shows each week. So join us. Anyway,
here we
welcome
go.
Courtney. Welcome Max. Max, take it away. Introduce.
And I'll welcome again. Welcome to you guys in various parts of the country. One very close, one very far, one a little further. And welcome to Courtney on Health, a Zoomcast podcast series which focuses on one's overall well-being with tips on nutrition and exercise given by Courtney Gravenese, registered dietitian and exercise physiologist. She's an experienced nutritional and health consultant in the New York metro area and beyond, and will guide you on a path to wellness and health. So what are we going to talk about today? There's so much to talk about. So here, let's start. There are many food trends, many of which are posted on social media, which often starts a food frenzy. Yep, I'm talking about you, TikTok. One of those trends is the acai bowl, which is like a very thick smoothie with toppings that you eat with a spoon. I don't know why they emphasize that, but they did in this article. You eat it with a spoon. The base of the bowl is made from pureed acai berries, which are soaked to soften the tough outer skin and then mashed to form a dark purple paste. I wonder if our purple dinosaur eats this. It is often served with other fruit, nuts, yogurt, and granola, and it is really quite satisfying. I had my first yummy acai bowl in the land of acai bowls, Los Angeles, and that's kind of the capital of salads and things of fruits and nuts and flakes. There's a joke
all sorts of healthy stuff, right? In theory.
Right. So anyway, so is it a fad or is it a healthy option? Courtney will give us now some great info on the acai bowls, so you can decide. So Courtney, start us off. What is the acai berry? I guess to start off.
Yeah.
Or what is it? Where does this all go? Where does this all start?
So hello to both of you. So I have to tell you what sort of inspired this story. I'm just back from a trip with my family, a beach vacation with my family, and on one particular hot afternoon, my nieces and my daughter ordered these types of bowls, two of which were acai bowls in particular. And whilst we're all there on the beach eating away, I'm looking at these. I'm like, man, they look so perfect for like a really hot day, so refreshing, very colorful. They did have some fruit in them. So I thought to myself, well, I know we've talked about on this show before, sort of the calorie load that some of these acai bowls can bring. But I thought I'd do a slightly deeper dive into what we know about the nutrition specifically. Where does it come from? What you should look for as a consumer, because that's all really important when it comes to the decision making on whether the juice is worth the squeeze. Meaning, for the money that you're spending on this, is it really worth it? So you might have mentioned this, Maxine, but so the acai berry is no surprise. We don't get it around here. It is very, very specific and native to Central and South America, specifically rainforests. So Brazilian rainforest, South America, Central America. They're hand-picked, so they're palm trees. I did not know this part. I did not know that they are grown on very tall palm trees in rainforests, so 60, 90, 100-foot palm trees, and are hand-picked. And I'm going to go into why we don't get fresh acai berries here in the US in just one second. So it is really the only place that you can get fresh acai berries for the most part. There may be some rare exceptions, but that is the spot, because that is the one place where they are grown. They look like, if you've ever seen a picture of them, they kind of look like a cherry almost. They have that beautiful red purple color. They're about an inch in diameter. They do have a large seed on the inside, and that's worth mentioning because one of the unique nutritional components of this berry, separate from other berries that we're going to talk about, is their fat content. most people wouldn't associate berries, any berry for that matter, as a source of fats. So it does happen to have both polyunsaturated and monounsaturated fats in it, both from what that seed has, that internal seed, and what's housed in that skin. So you mentioned that soaking process, Maxine. So much like fine wine, where a lot of what we're extracting comes from the skins and not necessarily the inside, it's very similar with the acai berry as well. So the skin is very, very important in terms of its antioxidant content and some of that fat content that we see inside of it. So have you guys ever seen fresh acai berries?
I don't think so. Not me.
And I'm surprised you said that they grow on palm trees. The only thing I know that also grows, well, you got coconuts and dates out in California, date palms. So there are some varieties of palm that do have fruits,
right? But
I didn't have a clue that this was from a palm tree, a berry from a palm tree.
Yeah.
Just an interesting trivia fact for a Jeopardy question.
Write that down, Max. Write that down right now.
I'm going to send it in. Even though there's a writer's strike, I'm going to send it in.
Well, you're not in the union, so that's okay.
Hey, how do you know? All right.
So one of the reasons why we don't see the fresh berries is that the reality of it is they spoil very quickly after they've been picked. The only way for them to get here is predominantly by boat. They can flown here. So it's costly and prohibitive to get them here. So the way we typically see it is in juices, freeze-dried powders, or what I have here as an example are the frozen pouches. And I'll talk about that in a second. So that's the form that we would typically get. Each of those forms has different nutrient profiles to it. For the pureed frozen pouches will have the greatest concentration of those fats and these antioxidants that the acai berry are so well known for. So we've spoken about these before in other berries, but those anthocyanins, those purpley reddish foods like berries, for example, that have that color to it are the ones that have a very high concentration of the flavonoid anthocyanins. Those are the ones associated with reducing heart disease, being anti-inflammatory in nature, helping control blood sugar. So there's lots of health benefits associated with specifically the anthocyanins that we see in the acai berry. So juices, not so much. And unfortunately, the freeze-dried powder, so you can find it either in a loose powder that you can mix into a smoothie or in a capsule form. By the time it gets to that state, at least through the processing that we know right now, much of that is destroyed. So if you're gonna do it right, and you might as well go with the pureed in the frozen pouches, simply because of what that processing does to the freeze-dried, and then of course the juicing process.
Have you tasted it from the pouch? And what does it taste like?
I mean, yeah, it has. It's funny. It's so for the description I've read, and I have to say it's a perfect description, is somewhere between like a cherry and dark chocolate, like really dark chocolate. So think about that little bit of a bite that might be to it. It has a sweet undertone, but it's not cloyingly sweet at all. It is not a super, super sweet berry. So it does have that little bit of bitter underflavor to it. So
do you buy that? I'm sorry, do you buy that? Where do you get that?
Yeah.
Is it in a regular supermarket or a health food store?
I have to be honest with you. I got this, and I know we're always fine mentioning names. I got this, but I know it's in other big stores like Whole Foods. Oh. But I got this, like I said, it's in the freezer section. The proof is really in the detail, the devil in the detail. We've heard that before. You're going to want to, and these are both products that I have here are produced by the same manufacturer. One of these I would highly recommend. I would put the sort of the CG seal of approval on it. It's the frozen pouches. All it is the pureed acai berry, pureed down, and then flash frozen. Perfect. There's nothing else in the mix. This one, they make pops, although you'd never know it because you see how the acai pops out there. is their acai pops. You would think it's mostly acai, but lo and behold, when you look at the ingredient list, acai is like the 4th ingredient in the mix. Apple juice is number 1. Pear juice is number 2. And there's a little bit of sweetener in there through fruit juice, 100% fruit juice. So read those labels. Because although you probably could put these pops into a smoothie, if you're really looking to use the acai for what it's known for, you're going to want to go with just read the ingredients, and it should just be the puree, and that's it. Very little else.
Interesting.
So that fat content, I know on the show we've spoken before about, as wonderful as nuts and seeds and things like that are, nut butters, they can go rancid pretty quickly. So the acai berry is going to fall into that too. So that's one more reason why it's very hard to transport it here. That fat content, which is a good thing from a nutrition perspective, from a transport perspective, is not helping it out. It will go rancid fairly quickly. So those fats are polyunsaturated fat. So 2 of those fats are going to be omega-3 and omega-6. Those are the 2 of the polyunsaturated fats. And it also contains a small amount of a monounsaturated fat, omega-9. Omega-9 is a non-essential amino acid, meaning that our bodies can produce it on its own. Not so much with our essential fatty acids, omega-3 in particular, and omega-6. If you recall from our previous episodes, the American diet has got an unusually high level of omega-6. So any opportunity to bump up omega-3, in my opinion, is going to be a great way around it. Does it have a ton? No. Are you better off with chia seeds, flax seeds, walnuts, salmon, fatty fish? Absolutely. But listen, we'll take it wherever we can get it, right? So definitely an option there. I do want to say though, so we mentioned before, when you buy these, so like I said, my nieces and my daughter, they were eating these bowls on the beach. They were so incredible. It was a hot day. It looked great. Enjoy them. These happen to be these 3 young women. They're healthy. They are at a healthy weight. They exercise. They eat right. So even if that acai bowl was 5, 6, even if it were 1,000 calories, and I will say 1,000 calories is a lot for one meal for most people, but there's always balance in life, right? And not everything has to be about calories. But in these 3 young women, less of a concern. If I had a client coming to me asking me about, acai, first from a nutritional perspective, and is it worth the money? And 2, where it's typically housed in these bowls or smoothies, I would probably ask them to look carefully at, what are the other things in the smoothie or the bowl that are contributing to the calories.
Right. What are they made? Yeah, they're made with, some of them have a lot of sugar because of what's added to them. So what's a typical acai bowl like? I mean, what is it going to have in it that's making it so popular? And what are the calorie counts of approximately?
It's very wide. I've seen as low as 200, which I have to be honest with you, is very, very low. I think those are rare for it to be 200 calories. I think the average is probably 500. And then depending on whether you mix it with, are you topping it with extra nuts? Nuts are very healthy. I'm not saying they're not, but they're fat, so they're going to have a little more caloric load to them. Are you doing any extra drizzles? So a place like Pliables, for example, and I'm not throwing Pliables under the bus. I mean, I think consumers have pushed back a little bit on Pliables and places and Jamba Juices and places like that, and they've actually asked specifically about what's in your acai. Is it really acai puree? So kudos to the consumer for making these retailers sort of own up to what's in these products. But they do a listing of different toppings that go on there. So I would say watch out for the drizzled tops that go on, on top of there. Typically nut butters and things like that are extra ingredients that go on top. Again, extremely, extremely healthy, but certainly if you are trying to watch your weight, they're going to bring in a lot of calories.
I have a question for you. Now, if I eat the same thing, let's say, as your niece, same amount of the food, and I do the same amount of exercises as they do, would I burn the calories as effectively as the younger people?
Well, no, because we lose our metabolic rate as we get older. That's number one. It depends on how much weight have you, and I'm not suggesting you were a yo-yo dieter, Malcolm, but if you've gained weight, lost weight, gained weight, lost weight your entire life, you've got a bigger hill to climb, because that actually creates an environment where your metabolic rate is very sluggish. And we know that about people who gain weight and lose weight, unfortunately, is that it's harder for them, which is why it's so frustrating for some people to keep that weight off. So no, it would not be the same thing. So Maxine, back to your question. So there's lots of things that you can put on there. If it's fresh fruit, make sure it's fresh fruit that they're putting on, and not, I would say, more pureed fruit, because that's when a lot of these companies sometimes can sneak in fruit juices to sweeten it rather than the fresh fruit. So for a lot of people, this is a great, easy way to get in a lot of different, fruits, maybe fruits that they wouldn't have normally. I've seen them with cacao or cocoa mixed in there. I've seen them with coffee mixed in there. So like, coffee flavoring, or so, again, there's some health components to coffee as well. So, again, it's just buyer beware with what you're buying. Don't be hesitant. Don't be afraid to ask what's in it. Know the balance of what you're eating throughout the day, right? So if it's at the end of the day and you've already had a fairly heavy meal that day, maybe choose something a little bit different. But we want people to enjoy their food, and if this is one way for them to enjoy it, increase the variety of fruits in their diet, then it's great. Having said that, where the research is right now, and of course this will constantly evolve, right? That's the way nutrition research works. Right now, when you compare the anthocyanin and the proanthocyanidins, we did the cranberry show a few weeks back. Those are the flavonoids that are inside cranberries. When you look at the content of those two antioxidants, they are very, very similar, whether we're looking at acai, whether we're looking at blueberries, whether we're looking at cranberries or pomegranate, or even tart cherries, for example. Blueberries and acai berries are very, very close nutritionally. So if I'm working with somebody, and I feel like, because like you said, we see a lot of information on TikTok, we see a lot of information on social media, I don't want people to feel like they're missing out if they're not on the acai, bowl bandwagon, right? I promise you, if you're getting some of the other berries that we just talked about, you're getting a good variety of not only the vitamins and minerals that are in there, but those antioxidants that are also in acai. So I don't want people feeling badly, because this is definitely a pricier way to go. We're in blueberry season here, and in fall we're going to be in cranberry season. So I would almost tell folks, listen, buy the cranberries in season in the fall, freeze them because they freeze beautifully, blend those up, and you get a large component of those antioxidants as well. So don't feel like the acai berry is the only game in town to get these antioxidants. And sometimes when I'm reading through some of these ads and even labeling, it makes it sound like it's the only game in town. It's one member of the team. Let's just put it that way.
Right. Again, having, I don't know if I've had one in New York since the one in LA, which was last year, but they put other things in there. So as you said, you got to watch it, because they'll put in a sweetened fruit juice. They'll put in some a nut milk that might have sugar, and so while it's delicious, and also they put granola and stuff, so you have to watch how much they put that on there too, because that could add to the calorie count. But coconut and almonds and good stuff. I really enjoyed it. So, and I know there's a bunch, but have you had an acai bowl, Malcolm? No. Have you had an acai bowl, Courtney?
Yes, I have. And I have to tell you, and you asked about the spoon, and so, and this is way outside of our topic for today, but we know our bodies register fluid calories different from solid calories, right? So I would almost suggest to somebody who is trying to watch their weight, manage their weight, if you're going to do one of these, absolutely opt for the bowl where you're using a spoon versus and chewing versus a smoothie where you're just drinking. Because you're going to drink that super fast. And you'd be like, okay, but the bowl.
Anyway, guys, I hate to interrupt you, but our time is up. Our time is up.
Let her finish the sentence, man.
See? Anyway, go for the bowl.
Go for the bowl, and just check what's in it. So make sure you're looking at them when they're putting it together. And it's delicious, and it's great. It's the summer. It's great because it's very refreshing, as you said,
and it's healthy. But as everything else, look at the ingredients if you buy it. Because
you get your blueberries too. Blueberries are super inexpensive this time of year.
Yes,
get them frozen.
They're on sale, and cherries have been on sale also. Yep. So if you can grab and if you're out in California and go towards not the valley, the desert, you'll see date palm trees.
There it is.
So there you go.
Okay, guys, wrap us up, Max.
I'm wrapping it up.
Wrap it up, Max.
Wrap it up, Max. So thanks for joining us for Courtney on Health. To get more info, follow Courtney on her Facebook page, which is Courtney on Health, on Instagram at CLG Wellness, and which is a TikTok. Hey, must be acai bowls on there a lot. Visit her website, CourtneyGravities.com. For past shows, go to MalcolmPresents.com and theManyShadesOfGreen.com. Courtney on Health. Smart Sound Nutrition, strong, safe fitness, and we'll catch you again next time.
Yeah. And if you want to be healthy, go to Courtney on Health on MalcolmPresents.com and binge watch it. All the shows.
Yeah, binge, baby. Binge in a healthy way.
See you guys next week.
Bye, guys.
Bye.